Hello, everybody. I'm Candace. Welcome back. Those of you that have been around a while know I don't really do a ton of videos, and I usually am just chatting with the camera the whole time. So today is a little different. But I wanted to do the maker work in progress tag that Becca C. Smith came up with. And I had an idea to draw a version of my setting for my Animal Crossing island because I restarted my Animal Crossing island to make that happen. And then my computer went out and I had to get something else. So we replaced it with an iPad, and I discovered I could record the screen and my voice at the same time. So that's what we're doing today. So before we get into the actual drawing, I wanted to kind of explain a little bit about what's going on. And that is, and I'll answer the second question from her questions list, which is, what are you making and how does it relate to your work in progress? So I am going to draw out my Animal Crossing map. On the left side, you see a map already drawn. That one more closely relates to what's actually in the book, the location that these people actually are. But my island in Animal Crossing is a square, mostly squared, kind of rectangle-y, sort of. And so I'm going to draw that for you guys as we talk about my work in progress. So if you don't follow Becca C. Smith, you should. She's fantastic. She's wonderful, along with so many other author tubers. But another one I wanted to spotlight before I jump in is Lindsay Puckett, who was actually featured on my blog this week for Maven Mondays. And so go check out that blog post. Go check out Lindsay Puckett. Those will be linked below, along with this video that Becca C. Smith did. And without further ado, let's design my Animal Crossing island and get going and answer some of these questions. So pull up my correct tool here. Okay, so now that we got the second question out of the way, the first question is, what is the title or working title and genre of your work in progress? So right now it's going to be a series, and the working title is the Fractured Reality or Fractured Moon series. I haven't quite settled on what that's going to be actually, but it is going to be something of that effect. So that's question one. The genre is, it's going to be thriller mystery style. So thriller mystery, psychological, there's going to be a lot of those elements in it. So this one just goes all the way around back here. So yeah, and my story actually does take place on an island, and so I'm going to answer questions this is my secret beach, which doesn't actually exist on my island. That's not a place that's real, so I'm probably going to kind of turn it into a forest or something like that, to make it match what I've got going in my actual island. So right now I'm just sketching out what matches my actual island, and then I'm going to fill in what I have. So I'm going to skip to question number 6 now. And that is, where and when does your story take place? So my work in progress takes place in present day Puget Sound, Washington, on an island. Now, this island is completely made up. It doesn't exist. The town doesn't exist. As far as I could search, there's no other town in Washington with the name that I gave it. But yeah, so this is Miller's Point, Washington. And it takes place mostly on an island. And the reason being is I wanted an island that was pretty close to, this is going to be swapped, pretty close to a big city in Washington. And so, yeah, so this is what I created. It is based on a few real islands combined to make this kind of fictional island, but yeah, so that's that. This is where we're going to have our fairy building. And so I figured, since I was bored with Animal Crossing, it would make the perfect Animal Crossing island. And just to put my characters into a reality, being able to really see them. So this is going to be Farm 1 and Farm 2. These are going to be character houses that I'm creating, as will my pub, and probably my hotel, which is over here. So there's my hotel, because this stretch here is the private beach that's for the hotel, and this will be the hotel's parking lot. So yeah, so that's my island. That's where my story takes place. They're going to go to cities around it that are real, like Everett, Seattle, things like that, but the actual place that all of this takes place is not real. So let's go back to question number 3. Actually, I'm going to skip to number 4. I'm skipping around because of the order that makes sense in my mind. So number 4 is, what is your elevator pitch for your work in progress? So my elevator pitch is that there are 3 young women. This is a new adult novel who they kind of are taking their separate ways. These young women are, 2 of them are sisters and one is their cousin. And so life has kind of taken them, separate ways as they discover new adulthood. 2, the sisters had already, their parents had died before all of this happened. And so they were all just kind of going their own way. Okay, so let me restart my elevator pitch because it kind of got off track. Okay, so 3 young women, 2 sisters and a cousin, who were separated by life, and they were brought back together after their grandparents' mysterious death. When they get back to the island of Miller's Point, they realize many things are just not what they seemed. So the girls stick around to uncover the mysteries that are happening, but also to continue their grandparents' legacy. So the community center. So that's the elevator pitch. It's very I've taken many ideas. I kind of like Lindsay Puckett's idea of like keeping your ideas in a box and seeing what you can combine. So I've got like 4 different ideas of stories that kind of sit dead in the water right now to see what elements I can keep and get rid of from each of those. So that's that. So question number 3 was one word to describe your main character. If it's multi-point of view, one word for each. So I'm not sure if each book in the series will be one point of view or if they'll all be multi-points of view. But I do have 3 main characters regardless of the situation and one word to describe each. I don't know if these names are going to stay, but these are the names they have right now. For Calliope, my one word would be faith. All of these girls have experienced hardships, tragedy along the way, but Calliope just has this way about her to decide that it's going to be okay, that everything is going to work out. And so I believe that faith is for her. For Thalia, I believe that her word is innocence. Again, all of these girls have experienced hardships. They've all experienced really devastating things. But for Thalia, there's an innocence to her, an ideology that just can't be denied. It's almost faith as well, but it's just this pure innocence. And then for Persephone, my little lovely Persephone, her word would be tenacious. She just is a no-nonsense, take no prisoners kind of person. She's funny. She has a great sense of humor, but she will do what needs to get done. And she keeps fighting. So I love that about her. And then question number 5, so we're skipping from 3 to 5, is your favorite character. It doesn't have to be a main character, and why. So all 3 main girls for different reasons, but especially Persephone, my little tenacious Persephone. So I do really like her, and but all 3 for different reasons. But one of my favorite characters is becoming, his name currently is Jake. That is not going to stay. I don't like that name. It's just the first thing that came to mind. But he originally was not going to be anyone important, but he's becoming important when I've seen the actions that his character has done. And he's becoming a romantic interest for one of my characters. So that has kind of become an interesting thing there. So Jake and my 3 main characters are probably my favorites at this time. So then there's going to be a little stream that goes here. And actually, I'm going to undo that because I'm going to make those blue because they are water. So there's gonna be a little river that goes through here and it feeds into this little lake here. So yeah, those are my favorite characters. Okay, so we have answered questions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 7, which character would you want to be stranded on a desert island with and why? None and all of them for so many reasons. They all have so many issues that I'm like, I would not want to be trapped with that for very, very long on a deserted island. But they all also have really good qualities. And so I like that idea. So yeah, all and none of them for so many different reasons. So last question is favorite location or spot in your work in progress, one that you wished existed and you could visit. Well, honestly, my whole island, to me is just fantastic. And I just want to go there. I want to hang out at the beach with my characters. I love beaches. I love the Pacific Northwest, and I live here. So technically, I could visit islands similar to this one, but yeah. So that is it. That is what I would want to do. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've only found places for 7 villager houses. So I'm going to have to... This could be a villager house. Okay, and I was going to put a villager house in here as a greenhouse. So let's make sure we have all villagers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're missing 1, which there's technically supposed to be a private house here by the hotel. So we could just squeeze 1 in there. Oh, no, never mind. Just kidding. That's actually my elementary school is going to be a villager house. I've already got my villager there. The rest of them need villagers still. So this is my Miller's Point Animal Crossing map. It definitely is not exactly a replica of the map over here on the left. That is my actual town map for my story, but that's okay. We have everything included, and I can even stick a lighthouse here as part of Farm 1, which is going to be very important because there is a lighthouse. It just all looks so different. So it has to shift a little bit because, and actually I'm going to scoot this over since we have more space over here. It has to shift a little bit because of the just the fact that Animal Crossing maps are kind of their own kind of shape already. And so so it just makes it difficult to mimic other things, but I think I've made it work pretty well here. So that's the playground. Okay, so I think I'm going to add, just for the sake of my Animal Crossing island, because I love having, I think I will keep this an inlet. It's not originally supposed to be. There's not supposed to be a waterfall here, but I'm going to make one for my Animal Crossing island because it's not the actual island anyway. And I have one that goes sideways that I want to keep on my island as it is. So I think I'm going to keep that just because I like it. And then the rest will be different. And I think I'll have random little waterways because I just like water on Animal Crossing islands. So I'll probably make that work somehow. But this is it. This is going to be my Animal Crossing island. This little area in the back here is going to be some perspective work. At least that's my hope. I'm going to try. I haven't thus far been good at perspective work in Animal Crossing, but actually I want to do this with art. Much better. Okay. So yeah, up until now, I have not been very good at the perspective work in the Animal Crossing world, but I'm going to do my best. Using little doll houses that we got for Christmas. I have to find someone who can give me some doll houses, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a perspective village back there because I have one that's oceanside up there in the left corner. If you can see it near the tide pools at the very back of the map, that's the actual map. So this is a very small island. It's got about This little town has a population of about 250 to 300 people, maybe even less than that, maybe like 150 to 250 people all together. And obviously not in the space that I have for my Animal Crossing island. And that's not including the people that come to the hotel. So yeah, so this is my Animal Crossing island. I didn't love where my peninsula is, but I've decided that it's really positioned well to be where the inlet is of my actual map. There's an inlet there from the Puget Sound, and so it actually coincides with that. So I'm going to turn part of my peninsula into a dock. I am way far away from having what's it called? From having what is it? Terraforming in my Animal Crossing world right now, because I literally restarted my island because I was bored and I wanted to do this, and so I literally just restarted. And so I know my art skills are lacking, so if you watched this all the way through, thank you. Forgive the artistry. I am not a visual artist. I am a writer and a singer, so I did the best I could. So yeah, there's that. I'm just gonna color all these buildings the same color. And I'll put my community garden a different color. My airport. Did I miss anything? No. Okay, so my community garden, I'll make a little bit darker. There we go. But I don't need this to be perfect. I need it to be enough that when I go to Terraform, I have an idea of how I want to arrange things, and it'll probably change as I terraform, but this is just a basic little, like, look, we're terraforming now, and we have we can put things down. Also, these beaches on this side are actually going to be rocky beaches, so I'm going to make them gray. So I already have some stuff to put down on the ground to make them look all rocky. And the side over here is what's going to be pretty sandy. So all of this is going to be rocky beach, and then the rest will be sandy beach. So let's color those sandy colors. And this is the private beach. The other beaches are all public, but this one is the hotel's private beach. Even in my story, it's got a private beach. So it fit really well between this inlet and the peninsula on my Animal Crossing island. And since resident services was in a perfect spot, those were the two biggest things for me. And the dock fell on the proper side of the island, even if it was not where it should be. It worked out, so I chose this layout. What else needs coloring before we go? My docks need to be brown. Okay, so that's not a very good brown. I could make it a little bit darker. That's better. So brown docks. So the marina has docks, but they are where like private boats come in, and the ferry boat is the one that comes in down at the bottom, and then this dock over here is just for fishing in the inlet and for hanging out and stuff. So this is Miller's Point, at least the Animal Crossing version of Miller's Point. The one on the left is more like it. So leave any questions or comments you have down below, and if you want to do this tag, then I tag you to do it. If you stumble across this and you're like, oh, I want to make something to go along with what I'm writing and what my work in progress is, then I would love for you to do that as well. Go watch Becca C. Smith's video about it, and I hope to see you guys